How much money did it take to start the World Poker Tour, and how did you structure the deal with this person who invested in your company?
It was, I believe you should always give someone a proposition they cannot say no to. I knew the kind of resources that the individual funder I was going to had. I knew they were big. But I also knew that he was a cheap son of a bitch. That's on tape, too. That's okay. I am, too. Because that's why rich people get rich. I mean, come on, let's get right down to it. He's not a guy who throws money away. So I went to him with a proposition that was very inexpensive. It was going to cost $3.5 million for us to start. And in real terms for him, that's play money. So went to him with that proposition and showed an upside that, you know, within a number of years had tens of millions of dollars working for him. Truly, this thing comes out of a bad movie. The whole first negotiation, or I guess close to the last. We had talked on the phone and come close, and then we went down into the desert. Literally, went down to Palm Desert to meet with this gaming guy who was very reputable, but I figured I needed somebody to go with me, right? Because right now it's just me. I'm sitting talking to this guy. So I go down and get Gibson, Dunn & Crutcher, Sherry Linewan, one of the attorneys who was a tax attorney, didn't even do any of this kind of stuff. I said, Sherry, I need a second. Right? I just need somebody to go down with me. She graciously, on a Sunday, drove down to the desert with me, and we went into this kind of smallish, you know, suite, in one of those suites that the room's not really big enough to be a suite. But we sat there, and here I was with three gaming guys, two of whom, other than Lyle, my dear friend and partner. Look, they were big guys, right? The kind that you were, you know, glad that you went down to a desert and you had somebody with you, right? And we sat and we had this discussion for an entire day, and there were at least 4 times in that day that the deal was done and we weren't going to do it. At least 4 times when I was ready to walk.
Why was that when you were ready to just turn away?
Because my expectations of what I was going to get out of the deal were much different from their expectations of what I was going to get out of the deal. And literally it came down at the very end to something like a 10% of the company spread that the deal was going to end over. In other words, my having a participation in the company, it's pretty much all public record, so I can say, I came in from the movie and television industry saying money gets 50%, management gets 50%. That's just what I knew, that's where I came from. I wound up with roughly 15% of the company. And I'll say it again, it was the best bad deal I've ever made. But from a learning experience, where I was then and where I am now and what my next venture will be and where I sit are worlds apart. And if I had walked out of that meeting and gone out and tried to find another investor, other money, likely this crazy poker phenomenon never would have broken. And I think that's, again, one of those kind of lessons that I learned was you got to be willing to make a deal, do your thing, and make a big pie or have a chance to make a big pie, or it's not worth it, right? So made that deal, though it was a tough one to make, and we were in business relatively soon thereafter with 4 people and 4 offices on a little lot in Hollywood.
And that initial investment of $3.5 million, was it structured as all equity or a loan? And how did it turn out for the investor? Not in dollar terms, but just...
No, he's so good. I'm telling you, this guy's a genius. I truly believe Lyle Berman's a genius. He, as a businessman, I have learned phenomenal amounts. But this is how he structured the deal, right? He said, well, we're going to structure it as a loan. So the $3.5 million we've completely paid back. Lakes Entertainment now has, I mean, depending on earlier, when our stock was up at 20 or whatever, they had nearly $300 or $400 million of a company after a $100,000 capital investment. That's pretty good. On the other hand, they knew that the money was the thing. And also, I don't know if we would have had the kind of success we had if we hadn't had Lyle, who was very well known in the gaming circles. So when I went out to casinos to sign them up, we were immediately able to get the meetings where we needed to